Yep, we're good.
Welcome along, guys. Brad from Coburn Sea Rescue. We're about to do we are doing a live cross now. We're having a flare demonstration tonight, letting off some handheld, some smoke and also some parachute flares. We're doing the parachute flares offshore, as you've probably gathered at the moment. Had a fantastic turnout tonight down at Woodman Point, so thank you for all those people who have come along. We're about to put out a Securite call, so it's a safety message, just a broadcast to all vessels in the area, because there will be some sightings. So just so that the relevant authorities and the relevant people know that we're actually, this is not a real distress, it's only a training exercise. We need to broadcast that, so I'm about to do that now. And then straight after that we'll go into firing 3 parachute flares, so we'll see how we go. Securite, Securite, Securite. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail. Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail. Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail. We are about to deploy some training flares. For more information about where we are, please go to channel 72. This is Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail going up. So we're just going to shoot up to channel 72 now and give a little bit more information about what we're about to do. Securite, Securite, Securite. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail. Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail. Coburn Sea Rescue Vessel Avail. For your information, we are about to deploy 3 red parachute flares. We are located half a nautical mile due west of the entrance to Woodman Point Marina. We'll be firing one directly after the other, and they are for training purposes only and demonstration, so no distress. This is Coburn. Standing by.
Hey Brad, just want to ask you, in what situations would you use these flares? What type of distresses?
Any distress, really. So there's lots of options available to boaters in terms of notifying that you are in grave and imminent danger, but essentially it needs to be a grave and imminent danger of the vessel.
So,
it has the same standing as setting off an EPIRB or over the radio calling out a mayday. So flares are grave and imminent danger, and they are the highest priority of response. So we're about to fire these off. There's a couple little things to consider when you're firing flares. Obviously from a moving platform, it's a little bit lumpy out here tonight, so you need to make sure that you've got a good footing when you do fire your flares off. It's really important also that your flare are outboard of your vessel, particularly parachute flares and handheld flares. They do spark quite a bit, so you don't want those coming back on board and creating an issue on board, or injuring anyone on board either. So we're going to make sure that we are slightly downwind when we fire these flares, and that they are outboard of the vessel, so that there's no issues there. We've got Steve out the back who's ready to go. It's really, really important that you read the instructions on your flares and know those instructions well before you ever have to use them. When you're ready, Steve, we'll do that. You'll notice a slight angle, outboard the vessel, and firm grip, and it's a sharp, and there it goes. So that flare is currently about 300 metres above sea level, very bright red, and that can be visible for up to about 40 kilometres at night. So very, very effective distress way of indicating that you're in distress. So we're going to do another one shortly with Nicola. Outboard. So these flares, there it is, it just went. I didn't think that one was going to work. Notice that one was aimed a little bit low, so it hasn't got the hang time of the others, but sometimes and I suspect with this downfall, probably didn't deploy properly. So you noticed how that sort of went out, and that's not all that uncommon. So they are pretty unreliable. They're not things that you can aim particularly well. However, they are a fantastic visual reference for someone who's actually in distress. So I'll shift back a bit. Stuart can fire another one. Our third. There we go, so 300 metres up. And parachute, which is basically like a little cotton parachute with strings down to it. It's really just to slow its rate of descent. We do have a bit of breeze tonight, so it is going to travel a little bit, but as you can see, really bright, really effective way of indicating distress. All of our fantastic people that came along and are sitting down at Woodman Point tonight are actually trying to gauge the angle that was. We've shown them some little tips on how to do that. You can go to our website and actually have a look at different ways and what information to give if you do see a flare, because the more accurate information authorities have, the smaller the search area is going to be and the faster there's going to be a response. So that's it for our rocket flares. Every vessel going offshore needs some sort of flare, depending on whether you're going category of inshore waters or offshore waters. But I guess if you take anything out of tonight, it is don't wait until you're in the distress situation to work out how to use these things.
We've just had a question from one of our sea rescue followers here. I'm confused, are these for emergency only? So in what situations would be considered emergency pretty much?
Okay, so anytime the vessel's in grave and imminent danger, so if you're sinking and right now our vessel is in trouble, you can use these. So you would try not to use these things for things like you might have run out of fuel, and there's lots of boats around you and you have other avenues like a mobile phone to contact sea rescue groups. The technical definition is the vessel is in grave and imminent danger. So you've hit reef and there's no one around, the boat's sinking, you've had a fire on board, those sorts of things. So it is the highest level, and the way that the reactions are, so you have Mayday, then you have a pan-pan, and then you have your Securitate. So pan-pan, if you get a Mayday situation, so a flare, and then someone puts a pan-pan call out on a radio, the flare will take priority. It is Mayday. Okay. But obviously there's other things that we can use to actually indicate distress as well. So there's lots of arsenal in your mandatory safety equipment that you need to have.
Yep, and what's the difference between a pan-pan? What would be considered a difference between a pan-pan and a Mayday?
Pan-pans really depend on what the situation is. So if it's a medical incident, very often a pan-pan is probably going to be more appropriate than a Mayday. Mayday is really talking about the vessel being in grave and imminent danger. If you've got someone on board who's not well, it's urgent, and that's what the pan-pan calls. It's an urgent call, but a Mayday will still take this priority over a pan-pan. So it is the highest level you can go.
And when's your best time to broadcast these pan-pans and Maydays?
As soon as you know you are in grave and imminent danger. And that's a really important point. The earlier you know you're in trouble, you get that call out. Whether that's a flare, whether it's setting off your EPIRB, doing whatever you need to do to make sure that you've sped up that process of getting help to you. I think that's probably it. So we're going to head back to Woodman Point now. If anyone is close to Woodman Point and you're not already down there, you're most welcome to head down. We're going to have the boats alongside, and we're free here to answer any questions.